Eberflus. I told everyone I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it till everyone officially hears that I said it. So hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, joined alongside my good friend and co-host, Tony Sapita. Good news today coming out from the Chicago Bears. New offensive coordinator Luke Getsy and Justin Fields are already hitting it off pretty darn well, working together, not standing him up like the bum of Matt Nagy did to Mitch Trubisky. So, Tony, before we go into more good news, did you have a good weekend betting? It sounds like from Twitter, it looks like you were on fire from your tweets this weekend.
Yep, 4-1 of my last 5 Bulls bets. I've just basically been riding the over, just totally on accident. And then also the over in the Pro Bowl, easiest money around. So yeah, it's going good. I know we're gonna have a little topic on that later in the week. So excited. So everyone start looking out for Fridays, Tony's weekend bets, if you want to keep up with that. So stay tuned. Tony's going to have his segment every single Friday episode or Thursday, depending on our scheduling. We will let you guys know that. Make sure you follow us on our official account or on Instagram. And we do have a giveaway coming up soon. So if you want to get ahead of the game, start following both those accounts now. Now, we also have some more news on new additions to Matt Eberflus' staff. And finally, Lovie Smith is back as a head coach. We may be seeing him in action we will be seeing him in action this upcoming season when he brings the Houston Texans to town at Soldier Field. But Tony, topic number one of the day, Luke Getsy and Justin Fields. News broke this weekend that they're already working together. Let's get a little bit more into it. Yeah, so Justin Fields and Luke Getsy had a Zoom meeting, I apologize. Allegedly, because it wasn't open to the public, but this is what sources are saying, to discuss plans for the offense and what he wants Justin Fields to start working on while he's in. So I said in probably Florida. Everyone's saying Florida, but there's been a lot of murmuring, bubbling up pushback that it's actually Georgia. Doesn't really matter where they're working.
I would like
out,
that
as
move
long
more.
as they're working out. Yeah. So he's going with either way. He is going with Mooney because Mooney said Florida, then Fields said Georgia, and it's just kind of been, again, doesn't really matter as long as they're working out together and following this plan that it sounds like they're starting to put in place. So basically, what they talked about is Fields, what Fields likes to run, what has worked in the past, whether it's with Matt Nagy, which I'm sure they found maybe 1 or 2 plays, but so I imagine going back to Ohio State. What's kind of worked in the past, what he doesn't like and what doesn't work. Find a lot of those plays last year. And then kind of just Fields' off-season training program to get ready for the new offense coming up. And I'm sure, he's got Getsy running some laps too, making sure he's in shape as well. But basically my takeaway is that I love this so much. And and of course, it could all be smoke and mirrors. We know coach speak where it's, oh yeah, we're working real hard and we're preparing, people say that all the time. But it's consistent enough where I'm buying into it. It feels like a coach is finally understanding that Fields is our greatest asset and he needs to be built around.
And I'm happy you said that because news also broke earlier this week that from Aaron Rodgers that he's like, wow, he was jealous. He wanted Luke Getsy to stay with the Green Bay Packers at all costs. And I guess the Bears I guess the McCaskies opened up the checkbook. Thank goodness they did that. But, Aaron Rodgers had nothing but good things to say about Luke Getsy and how he's going to help advance Justin Fields in his career. So, and a lot of other players are saying that as well. And then also, we just saw this earlier today from Brandon Jacobs. I believe it was posted earlier today. I retweeted it on my Twitter, is that apparently there's a certain wide receiver. Yes, from Brandon Jacobs, a certain wide receiver out of Green Bay talked to Luke Getsy yesterday and showed heavy interest in joining the Chicago Bears. With our luck, it's Randall Cobb, but if it is Davante Adams, I would love that for sure. So he's obviously
Marquez
a hot commodity.
Scantling coming down oh yeah, thanks, dude.
yeah, no problem. Adam was like, come on, just keep him on Green Bay. We just want Davante, as long as it's not $30 million money. But I do like this move. I think that bringing Mooney down is key because Mooney will be the number one. Unless obviously Davante Adams comes to the Chicago Bears. We're not hitting on that right now, but I do like these moves. Why not go to Georgia and Florida? 2 different climates, 2 different types of areas. You're mixing it up. Press hopefully won't be there. And I'm excited. Like you said, he's working around Justin Fields. That's what he did with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, has 2 MVPs in the last 5 years. So overall, he is a great asset for the Chicago Bears. And both Tony and I are really liking this pickup so far. But speaking of pickups, Tony, we got a lot of new head coaches while I was out in Arizona. Tony and Nick were holding down the Bulls. Make sure you go watch our last episode talking about the trade deadline. But in regards to the Bears coaches, We got a lot over the last weekend. So I'll start off really quick. We're going to run through these coaches. And Tony, I want you to give your thoughts as we go through them. Richard Hightower, special teams coach, we picked up. There were a couple other candidates in the works for our special teams coordinator, but it is Richard Hightower. His stats don't look that good on paper. They're but there's a backstory to everything. So 2017, he ranked 15th with it, and this is all with the San Francisco 49ers. 2017, they ranked 15th. 2018, they ranked 21st. 2019, they ranked 19th. 2020, they ranked 27th. And then this past year, they ranked 25th. Now, this past year is a little bit of a different story. It doesn't speak as much to the language as the ranking because they really came together at the end of the season. And shout out to Robbie Gould, obviously, for being on the San Francisco 49ers. But also, that unit is what helped take down the Green Bay Packers, even though the Green Bay Packers special teams absolutely stunk. Richard Hightower obviously looks like a pretty good candidate so far. And he has ties with the Bears. He was an assistant special teams coordinator under John Fox in 2016. So, Tony, I'm overall fine with this pick. I think it's a good filler for Chris Tabor. I do wish Chris Tabor stayed with the Bears, but anything else on this guy before we move forward to the next coach?
Yeah, so overall, I'm fine with it. The way I look at kind of special teams coaches in this sense is kind of like an average special teams coach will be perfectly fine. It'll be good enough for your team. As long as you're not bad at your job, the Packers special teams coach, like that truly lost them the game. If they just get a punt away, if they just make a field goal, like that's average, I in my opinion. And then you're good. You can just move on. You could be you got to just figure it out on offense and defense, the bigger parts of the game. But I think it's okay, in my opinion, as long as it's not just a disaster.
And I agree. I think that as long as you are not dead last, and also we have Cairo Santos, we have, Khalil Herbert, who's looking pretty darn good. We have Pat O'Donnell, we have Scales. Like we have a good special team in place for him to come back to. So excited about that. And he's worked with Pat O'Donnell and Scales before because back in 2016. So anyway, our next hiring, I like this one a lot. I'm going to go through the next two pretty quickly, Tony. Austin King, assistant offensive line coach for the Chicago Bears. Now, very low key signing. Let me quickly break down why. Played 4 years at Northwestern as a center. And then in the NFL, he was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2003 and played with Tampa and then played with Atlanta from 2004 to 2006. The pros of him, he helped protect Michael Vick during his prime at the Atlanta Falcons before the whole dogfighting thing happened for Michael Vick. But he was able to understand what protecting a quarterback with, ability to run, throw, same as Justin Fields. He understands that from a player's perspective. He can bring that from experience and be a good coach for hopefully a long time. And he's an assistant, so he can continue to progress. Was on the Raiders last year as an offensive quality coach, so that's pretty key as well. He knows how to win. He's been with winning organizations, and we like to hear that. Now, this is the big one. Quarterbacks coach, Andrew Jenico. Was the Vikings quarterback coach last year. A lot of history behind this guy, and he is a big asset. I could see him becoming a head coach potentially in the next, probably 5 to 10 years. But he was the second best signing beside Joe Brady, who unfortunately is not coming to the Chicago Bears. But he worked with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as an offensive quality control coach from 2012 to 2013. And then with the Vikings, he's been with them since 2015 to a couple days ago when he signed with the Bears. He was an offensive quality control coach, an assistant offensive line coach, a wide receiver coach, and then last year's quarterback coach. Why this is big? He knows how to work with the offensive line. He knows how to work with Austin King. So those two are going to collab together. And Chris Morgan, obviously, our head offensive line coach. So they're going to run certain schemes where the weaknesses, where the strengths, and how this offense can work around Justin Fields and what to focus on to get better. He helped kick off Justin Jefferson's career, who has obviously been a complete tear in the NFL. So you love to hear that. He was a wide receiver coach in 2020, his rookie year. Love to hear that. And hopefully he'll help create a connection between Justin Fields and Darnell Mooney, because last year he was Kirk Cousins' quarterback coach. And Tony says he stinks, even though the stats are way better than any quarterback we've had in at least the last 6 years. Kirk Cousins last year had a 66.3% completion percentage, 4,221 passing yards, 33 touchdown passes, 7 interceptions, and a 103 QBR. Tony, any other comments before we go into the final subject?
Kirk Cousins does stink. He's a stat stuffer. They didn't even make the playoffs with this great quarterback. So I don't think that's Andrew's fault, though. I like that he's worked. So my kind of just general point is I like that he's worked with almost every position group. I think that's really cool. So like you said, I believe that he just kind of knows the strengths and weaknesses of every group, knows how to work with them. I don't know. I just think that's invaluable. We'll see obviously how it works. We don't know yet, but I think that's a cool addition.
he understands each, phase of the offense. The line obviously is going to protect the quarterback. Who does the quarterback throw to? The wide receiver. How do you get the ball to the wide receiver? The quarterback. It all goes in a big triangle.
Yep. So, and he can teach Fields to do that too, which is very important. You'll see the best quarterbacks, Peyton Manning, like those guys, they knew how every single guy, their first step, their smallest move, they knew what they were going to do. Who knows if that's what Fields is going to know at this point, but that's what this is a good coach to help him do that. Tony
just said Justin Fields is the next Peyton Manning, so I'm okay.
He's going to be better than Peyton Manning, I think.
There we go.
Yeah, and then that's my take.
That's it. He's going to be better than Peyton Manning. Put that on here. We'll look at it in 10 years. Jim Dre, our new tight ends coach, 35 years old, former NFL player, so very young guy. 8 years in the pros with the Cardinals, Browns, Bills, and Niners. He had 56 career catches for 605 yards. 3 touchdown catches in his career. So he also went to Stanford. So he's a pretty smart guy, at least from a college on resume standpoint. Don't know about the player's academics. But his coaching career in 2019, he was with the Cleveland Browns as an offensive quality control coach. Same position from 2020 to 2021 with the Cardinals. So always love former players becoming coaches. And I like that he's worked with 2 good teams over the last 3 seasons. So again, he knows how to win. And that seems to be the theme of this Bears overall coaching staff. It seems like everyone's coming from a winning team. They understand what it takes to win, and that's what you like to hear. So finally, quick final subject, 30 seconds. Lovie Smith is the new Houston Texans head coach. We are very happy for him. We love Lovie Smith. He totally got robbed out of his job here back in 2012, 2013, where the Bears went 10-6, and then they fired him. They were 81-63, including the postseason under Lovie Smith. So I'm very happy to hear him. He deserves it. And his time at Illinois, in my opinion, was not his fault. Illinois football program is just a disaster from what it's been the last couple of years. Tony knows it. I know it. But good luck to Lovie Smith. Tony, anything else on Lovie Smith before we go?
Love it. Happy he's getting another paycheck, NFL head coaching paycheck. That's awesome. He's probably not going to make the playoffs or anything while he's there, but that's not his fault. The Texans are a dumpster fire of an org. We think our organization's bad. At least our organization is just stupid. They're like bad people. They're always self-sabotaging. So cash those checks, King. Just, right off into the sunset when you're ready. And yeah.
Very, very, very excited for Lovie Smith. And we get to see him this year at Soldier Field. Tony and I might go to that game. We haven't even discussed it yet. I'm just throwing that out there. But with that, thank you very much for joining this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Dick Brody, joined alongside my good friend and co-host, Tony Sapito, and we'll see you guys next time.